So I wanted to take a few minutes with this video to talk about 3 interesting PlayStation 5 stories, and if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. Now, the stories I want to dive into today includes a big update for the studio behind Returnal, graphics upgrade 3.0 confirmed for PlayStation 5, and it's been tested. We're going to talk about that, and we also have to talk about with what's going on with Factions 2. We got to talk about that. First, yes or no, have you played Returnal or not? We're going to be talking about the studio and the big plans they've got going on for next year, but before that, I'm curious how many of you are fans of Returnal. So comment below yes or no if you've played Returnal or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, Returnal Studio big update. Reading from Push Square, developer Housemarque, the makers of the excellent Returnal, is set to move into a very swanky sounding new studio by the end of next year. The team is Finland's longest standing game developer, founded in 1995 and operating out of Helsinki ever since. In a new blog post on its website, Housemarque says it's looking to relocate to and establish, still within the Finnish capital, the Nordic's most advanced gaming headquarters. The aim is for the studio to be both a testament to our rich gaming legacy and a beacon of innovation and creativity in the northernmost capital. Calling it more than just a shiny new office, brand director Mikhail Havari describes the studio's vision for a modern and expensive sounding workspace with features like cutting-edge meeting rooms, proper audio studios, testing areas, and wellness spaces. We are creating an environment that merges Nordic's sensibilities with creativity, aiming to attract the world's best game developers, the Post reads. So it's amazing to see the progress Housemarque has made, going from pretty much an indie studio making small games to jumping to the spotlight with AAA titles like Returnal. Sony's clearly confident in the studio and are investing into them to grow and potentially produce more content similar to other PlayStation first-party studios currently working on multiple titles. We'll hear more about this new studio situation in 2024, and we already know that the studio is working on a new IP. They're not making Returnal 2. It took them about 4 years to make Returnal from seeing the timeline, so I wonder, with a new larger studio and more staff, would they be able to speed up that progress for their next IP? I guess we'll see in time. Now, diving into the second story of the video, Factions 2 is put on ice. So, this is just more frustration for me. I'm not for releasing a game before it's ready. I've never said that, but it's unfair to make us wait, Factions fans wait so long for a proper concrete update on this game. The story comes from Kotaku, who have stated that up to 25 contractors have been let go from Naughty Dog, and Factions 2 is currently put on ice. It's not canceled. So of course that's nice to hear because it's obviously worrying what's going on with this game. Now, the contractor situation, they're not full employees and their contracts came to an end. So this could just be normal behavior for just contracts, for any job in the private world. You have contracts, they come to an end, you move on. They probably hired a bunch of them, and these people are, one by one, their contracts are ending. So that could just be normal. Kotaku does state that full-time employees haven't been affected, so that's good to hear. This is why we need more information on this game instead of everyone guessing what's going on. Reports telling us what might be going on. And to remind everyone, Naughty Dog is working on multiple games. They're a huge studio. They're not a small indie studio. Working on Factions 2 doesn't stop them from working on their new IP or potentially Last of Us Part 3. So there's no need to hope for Factions 2 to be canceled so they can focus on this new IP. They're already working on this new IP, and they have been working on this new IP. And for those that talk about being impatient, you have to understand the time length here. We've been waiting since Last of Us 2 was announced. Then Naughty Dog dropped the news on us in 2019 that Factions 2 wouldn't be a part of Last of Us 2. So then we waited, and 4 years later from that 2019 announcement, we still only have concepts of this game, and now we're hearing it's put on ice. This goes beyond patience. We're not asking for the game to release. We're asking for concrete information as to what is going on with this game, and hopefully Naughty Dog provides us this information in the near future. But you guys let me know if you're interested in Naughty Dog's new IP or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And now diving into the final story of the video, graphics upgrade 3.0 confirmed for PlayStation 5, and it's now been tested. So as we spoke about recently, FSR 3.0 is now live for two games, Forspoken and Immortals of Aveum. This is currently only on the PC, and we've been waiting to hear what's going on with the PlayStation 5 versions of these games. For Immortals of Aveum, it's now been confirmed that consoles will get an update to support FSR 3 in the future, according to the game's official X account. So this is great news, proper full confirmation. FSR 3 again is AMD's upscaling technology that allows games to run at a lower native resolution like 1440p and upscale them to 4K, and it looks nearly as good as 4K, so most people wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And with the freed up resources, they can bump up the FPS counter to 60 FPS, for example, or higher. FSR 3 brings frame generation with it. That's the big news here, big piece of tech with FSR 3. Frame generation is just creating artificial frames within frames to boost up the FPS counter. It's now been tested on PC with Forspoken and Immortals of Aveum, and I've checked out some of these videos, and here are the results. The impressions have been overall positive. They do note that it doesn't support VRR and that you need to have VSync on, which matches your game's FPS count to your screen's max refresh rate, which could cause screen tearing, but I haven't heard this issue from the test. Tests have come to note that it runs better on Immortals of Aveum than it does on Forspoken, so it looks to be dependent on how well the developers implement FSR 3 into each game. One person, Daniel Owen on YouTube, tested out FSR 3 and notes some jitters for Forspoken when turning the camera, but he didn't have that issue with Immortals of Aveum, and it ran smooth over there. Latency was a worry for many, but from test it looks like latency is not impacted that much, so that's a big positive, because again, with generating frames within frames, this doesn't improve latency because the game itself isn't generating those frames. So if you bump a game from 60 FPS to 120, the picture will look like 120 FPS smooth, but the latency will still feel around 60 FPS. This is why it's recommended that 60 FPS be the minimum base FPS before using frame generation. Frame generation, according to AMD, works on Radeon 5700 cards and above, and works on 20 series NVIDIA RTX cards, which the PlayStation 5 falls above that realm, so it should be able to support frame generation. And also from these tests, I've seen people use frame generation on much weaker GPUs, lower than the recommended, lower than the supported, the base supported. I've seen people run tests on lower GPUs and it works, but for this to work well on consoles, the game should be running at 60 FPS already. Then frame generation is added on top of that, so only expect this to run on performance modes for various games. And if they use FSR 3 upscaling to make to get a bump in the picture quality, then you could have games running at 4K upscaled at 60, but the picture motion looks like it's running at 100 FPS, for example. This is exciting stuff. I'm really curious to see what happens in the console space with this tech. But you guys let me know if you have Immortals of Aveum or Forspoken or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with "Bring on the upgrades." Obviously, this is in reference to FSR 3.0 coming to PlayStation 5. I'm excited for it to come. If you are as well, destroy the comment section with "Bring on the upgrades," and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do, because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.